Good evening. Good evening, people of the culture. Likes up. Lights up, mics up. Let's get them likes up. Hit that subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Good evening, people of the culture. I know that we all thought that this was over. I thought that Lupe said he was done. He was going to disappear for a while. That's what we were told. How we looking? People of culture, how we looking? Salute. Emergency live, another emergency live. I was supposed to do this last night, gang. Hopefully I can get some people to watch a little bit of people in here. We'd be good. Queen B, how you looking? Mike Lyons. Your fave persuasion, Diego. Yeah, we gonna have a good one tonight, gang. Tasha Shea in the building, Tizzy, right? Afeni. Listen, my guy B-Mod is here, right? It's gonna be, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to get to. Pseudo cute nerd, appreciate you for the jewels. Run the jewels. All Jews. All Jews. What up, Yvonne? Appreciate you guys for the jewels. Sherry Ann. I know I'm coming on a little late depending on where you are. I know it's past bedtime for a lot of people. I know it is. Miss Diva, Toy. All seeing Scorpio, the all I see in human being, right? Listen, Positively Pepper Jones. Listen. Neen feels her feels. We gonna have a conversation. Tasha Shea, appreciate you for the jewels. Run the jewels. Run the jewels. Right? Chapo, what's good? Jen, listen. There's a lot going on. Good Juju, I see you. Raphael. Full Auto, you made it. Bag Lady Ree, right? Regal Love. Ascola. I might have butchered that one. Richard with the Jewels. Harlem Hottie. Gang, we gonna get to it. Danny Lord, what's good? We about to get to it. Quentin Miller. That name sound real familiar. That name sound very familiar. It sounds very familiar. Harlem Hottie with the Jewels. Nisi. Ken Gemma. Zero Burn. Becky Macbeth. Oh, you know it's gonna be turned tonight. We getting it in. Listen. I wanna talk about this, and we're gonna get to it. You're gonna see it, but we're gonna get to it. Mario Faith Warrior, what's good? We're gonna get to all that. But let me tell y'all what happened. First things first. I saw this yesterday. I saw it live. I was watching live. Gang, I don't know how I keep popping up into these lives at the perfect time. I popped up into this live. Sosa in the building. Appreciate you for the super chat. I popped up into this live with Toure. Salute to Toure. And salute to King Gring, who really the ones that got this popping. Let's keep it a buck. Salute to King Gring. Salute to Toure. Because King Gring made that infamous video about lyricism doesn't sell records. Right? And that triggered Quality to go and react to it. And while he was reacting to King Gring's assertion, right? Or dissertation, depending on how you look at it. He said Lupe Fiasco, right? When King Gring was describing people who put a lot of words together and rap really fast, if I'm saying this correctly, they put a lot of words together and they rap really fast. And Quality said Lupe Fiasco. If I'm saying this wrong, let me know. At that point, for whatever reason, Lupe was in Quality's chat. And he said, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this guy. Right? So, Quality gets some form of DM or something in the chat. I believe Lupe put in the chat 20 million records sold, alluding to the fact that he is indeed one of these lyrical miracle rappers. But he sold some records, gang. So don't call him out his name because he moved some units. Right? We're going to get to all that. Salute to the people that's watching. Right? Slowly I turn, inch by inch. We're going to get there slow. Slow. We're going to slow cook. We're going to get there. Right? We're going to get there. All right? We're going to get there. Slowly I turn, inch by inch, step by step. We're going to get there. So Quality sees Lupe in the chat. One thing led to another. Lupe ends up on the screen. But gang, it ain't to be nice, right? It ain't to be, I'm just going to come in here and just talk to you brothers. No, gang. Wasn't that, because I saw it. Lupe came in there on some big bone and brolic, big mad. I'll show you, dagnabbit. Came in. Oh, yeah. The villain does get F with no Vaseline. He came in on some no Vaseline Ice Cube. On some what's good. Right? West side till we ride. Right? Came in Quality stream. Quality is like probably caught off guard. Here's an international artist, right? Bethany in the building, Quickie Sticky. International artist in his stream, in his live. He gave him the link. He shot him the link. Lupe came on. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm just recapping for some people still don't understand what's going on. Believe it or not, there's still some people like, what's going on with Lupe? Still don't know. So I'm trying to put it all out there before we get to this. Because Lupe said he was done. He was going to disappear like that Homer Simpson meme. He was going to fade back in the bushes. He was going to call it a night. Right? But he didn't do that. He popped back up one more time because he wanted to correct you guys about your the Nas situation. Right? Quickie Sticky. Why I order. Right? He wanted to correct you guys about that. And then he had one more thing he wanted to correct you about. One more thing. Because you guys keep putting that Nas thing on him. And he wanted to correct you. And he went to another friendly stream. Right? He went to another stream. Toure. Salute to Toure. Legendary Toure. Salute. We need Toure. We need King Green. So he goes over there. He pops in their stream. But let me stay focused before we get there. Because the whole reason he crashed their stream was to pretty much put that to bed that he was talking crazy about Nas. That was the whole point of him jumping in there. So before we get that far, we gotta start at the start. So Quality streaming live, minding his business. I think he's in for a while. He's an hour or so in. I think. I know he had been on for a while. Shoots Lupe the link. Bing bong. You've got mail. Lupe clicks the link. Comes on. All protein, all muscle, big bone brolic. I'm Lupe Fiasco. I'm in here. What? All three of y'all. Right? All three of y'all. Put some respect on my name up in here. Came into the stream. Came into the stream. To some, like myself, it felt combative. Right? Felt combative. Here he is, a major international celebrity rapper coming into a YouTuber commentator's stream to confront him over words that he heard him say about him. It was surreal. But you know what? Well, he did not understand, and what I do understand, Quality is good at his job. He understood the assignment. And I guarantee you, before he hit that link, Quality knew what he was going to do. That ain't pop up out of nowhere that he hit him with the, what about Dot? So Lupe comes in the stream, basically on some, why you keep having my name in your mouth? I watch your stream, my guy. I've seen you several times. And every time you bring my name up, it ain't flattering, my G. What's good over here in Quality land? He pretty much accused him of having a one-sided beef. He's like, I don't even talk about you, but you keep talking about me. Bing bong. That was it. That was the end. The one-sided beef was the end. So Quality, being a master commentator in this YouTube space, he's like, we about to go viral in his head. He's like, well, if I got a one-sided beef and your name is always in my mouth, why is Kendrick's name always in your mouth? Ain't that a one-sided beef too? Now, initially, Lupe wouldn't take the bait. He knew where it was going, right? Sexy Smoke, Elevator Gamer, Sexy Smoke. Lupe accused Quality of having Sexy Smoke. And he wanted to keep it focused. Dot ain't here. Dot not here. Stop bringing up Dot. Dot not here. You got this Sexy Smoke for me, keep it on me. So, but Quality, nah, son. Real deal Holyfield. All you hookers and hoes know how I feel. He came with some real deal Holyfield. He's like, nah, son. If I'm a one-sided beef, then you a one-sided beef too. And he was 100% right. And you know how they say deep down in his heart of hearts? Lupe knew he was right. 10 years straight. These off-color comments, the tweeters and deleters, these tweaks and deletes, right? How Slick Rick say, deep in his heart, he knew he was wrong. Deep in his heart, he knew. And he couldn't keep shunning them off. Because Quality wouldn't let him. He kept saying, but what about you and Dot? Sooner or later, it's like a hook. You know that dance when they do the fishing pole? And then they wind the fishing pole like this, and the person got to go like this because they pull him close. He hit him with the fishing hook, bang, and he reeled them in. And Lupe was like this. It's 100 rappers better than Dot. Like, da-da-da. It got crazy. It got crazy. He said it's 100 rappers better than Kendrick Lamar. And there it is. Y'all remember that movie, A Few Good Men, when Tom Cruise, and he made him say, you ordered the code red. Right? Damn right I ordered that code red. You need me on that wall. Lupe went full A Few Good Men. You damn right I ordered the code red. So Lupe went full on Jack Nicholson. He ordered the code red and he'll do it again. Got him. You can't handle the truth. That's Lupe. We can't handle the truth, guys. I don't know if you know this. We can't handle the truth. In this clip that I'm about to show you in a little bit, in this clip, he literally says these conversations, once they hit a certain level, shouldn't be public because the public at large cannot handle it. Gang, I'm not making this stuff up. I'm not making it up. He even said a couple people on Company Man's panel were laymen. You got to put things in layman's terms for them because they're not savvy enough. Gang, I watched the whole clip. We're going to get there. Run the jewels. Salute to Tasha with the jewels. Melanin. We running jewels all night. Get the likes up. Hit the subscribe. You can't handle the truth. Damn right I ordered the code red. Lupe ordered that code red. El Chapo with the jewels. Rec O'Connor with the jewels. Toy. Listen. Damn right he ordered the code red. 100 rappers better than our shit. If you want to keep going, I can name them. He told Quality he could name 100 rappers better than Dot. Don't get him started. He'll order. You can't handle the truth. He'll order the code red right now. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there, gang. And it's not going to be disrespectful to Lupe. Because I felt he was way more pleasant when he crashed this stream than he has been all week. He was personable, pleasant, smiled. We got a different Lupe. Right? I guess he was in a safe space. He was reminding Toure of the good times. Do you remember when how we first met? It was an interview. It was my mom, it was J. Cole and his mom, and we were at the Grammys. It was a great time. He was in a good mood. He's going to catch a plane. So admittedly, we got a very different Lupe. We got a pleasant Lupe. He's about to go take a shower and jump on a plane. Because he got shit to do, but he only chimed in to let you niggas know, stop putting that thing on his back about Nas. Done Deal said, then he named two. He named Rosenberg Raw and somebody else. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Gang, I gotta set it up. I got to set it up. We're going to get there. Mind you, gang, so listen, this prompted me, and I'm going to say this before I forget. This prompted me to do what's the word I'm looking for? I filled myself in. I went on a crash course to reintroduce myself to Lupe. I reintroduced myself to Lupe. I started digging around and looking for old shit like, oh, okay. And salute to Rapperholics. He did a great breakdown of Lupe's career from beginning to him, Lupe versus Kendrick. It was a very interesting breakdown. Very interesting. And it reminds you that Lupe was Dot before Dot. And this is where some of this stuff is coming from. Right? King Los. But he named Vernon. We're going to get to King Los. That's old. We're going to get to that. That's 2014 on Hot 97 with Peter Rosenberg and Ebro, of all people. We're going to get there. We're going to get there, gang. So he's on there with Quality. You can't handle the truth. I ordered the code red. Quality's like, that's a one-sided beef that you got with Dot. So he starts saying this, that, and the third. He named Rosenberg Raw, who I never heard of. I went and followed homeboy. I seen him battle, but I didn't know who he was. Went and followed homeboy. Right, and it come to find out, it was like a tongue-in-cheek. It was kind of like a backhanded compliment, allegedly, according to Rosenberg Raw. Rosenberg Raw said, dude don't even like me. What he named me for? What Pac-Man on me for? That's a little movie called Colors. Y'all might be too young for that movie. It's starring Sean, what's the homeboy's name? Sean Penn. And Ice-T, I believe, might be in Colors. I know he does the soundtrack. He ain't in Colors. He does the soundtrack. What Pac-Man on me for? Right? So he's talking to Quality. He throws out this crazy statement that 100 rappers are better than Dot. And I said, I'm going to say it again, should be 1,000. But they not on this level, so don't matter. Don't matter. I gave you guys the in the other video, I said that's like the guys at the Rucker or the guys in the N1 league. Yeah, they're amazing. but they not in the NBA. They not in the NBA. Right? I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking, king of the jungle, just a gangster stalking, living life like a firecracker, quick as my fuse. Little song called Colors by Ice-T, gang. Listen. End of the day, right? End of the day, him and Koala T go viral. Everybody picked this up because Koala T's pinning him down once again that he got an issue with Dot. I don't care what the reason is. You don't say something like there's 100 rappers better. That is very disrespectful to say about anyone. Then you go back and look at the old comments like Control versus overrated and it's whack. And he's not that great of a rapper. This, that, and the third. All that stuff starts to creep in. When I did a little backpedaling and looking back, this is every 2 years, a year, every year and a half. There was an article right now on hotnewhiphop.com that I thought the article was new. Lupe Fiasco blasted for a hateful Kendrick Lamar tweet. It was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago, so he already does this. It's not even new. This is like routine. That train's never late. That Dot ain't that dope train, never late. We need you on that wall type shit. So that goes viral. Everybody knows your name. Boom, boom, boom. And they're always glad you came. Right? Everybody knows Quality's name now. Like it or love it. And it's all connected to Lupe forever. Forever, ever? Right? And this sparks conversation with people like myself and others. And you know what we do? Our job is to talk current events in hip-hop. So we start talking. Talk. Like you God told Method Man. Talk. Oh, but Lupe was like, oh, no. Oh, no. Not without me, my God. Not without the God. Lupe started jumping in lives. Bing, bong. He started jumping in live. Give me the key give me the Wi-Fi password. I need to get in this live. Lupe started jumping in. Wonder, password to the Wi-Fi. They can talk about the timeline, right? He started jumping in lives. Oh, it makes it worser. Now it's worser. Now he jumping in live saying most craziest shit. It's getting worser. Now we got a story. Guys, stop the presses. Lupe jumping in live after live. He goes in. Who lied? Let me try to remember. A lot of shit has happened. He ends up before he even get to Culture United. That was 3-4 lives later. He jumped in. Who jumped in? Let me remember who live he jumped in. He jumped. Who live did he jump in? Let me remember. Y'all gonna help me out, because I know he jumped in about 4, 5, 6, 7, right? He started jumping in people's lives. Motherfuckers just minding their business talking. He jumping. He in the live. Oh yeah, he jumped in Jashawn. Salute to Jalop. He jumped in Jashawn live, right? Jumped in the Rap Round Table live. Bing bong. I'm in, I'm out. Now you see me, now you don't, right? He jumped in there. He jumped in the Rap Round Table live. He jumped in Jashawn. He jumped Mickey Fax, right? Just jumping in dudes live. It's unprecedented. We've never seen nobody do this, especially if they wasn't promoting. It wasn't like J. Cole, right? Oh, he jumped in Read My Soul. It wasn't like J. Cole where I'm going to go sit down. I'm going to go sit down here. I'm going to go sit down there. Right? I'm going to go over here and then da-da-da. I'm popping up on camera. But everybody knew he was coming. He wasn't lurking in your live and shit asking for links. This dude, Lupe, lurking in lives, commenting. People see the eyeballs and they be like, that's fucking Lupe. That's the real Lupe. Look at it. Click the profile, watch it. Look, that's really Lupe. Bro, you coming? You want to? Yeah, he coming in. I'm coming in hot, right? Coming in hot. So Lupe starts to go everywhere, and everything is combative. It's just contentious. It's all over the place. It is a sight to behold. Behold, I am Lupe. I am here. Right? Behold, came down from rap heaven to bless you guys. Right? Run the Jules. Salute the Toy. Running Jules tonight. Water in my cup. Renee Brown, salute. Water in my cup. Sarah Wong, salute. We getting busy tonight. So your boy Lupe is going in these lives, right? And he's just making it worse. He's just making it worse, right? Like Adrian told Rocky, you can't win, Rock. You can't win. Can't win? First of all, we ain't got nothing better to do but sit here. You do. You should have something better to do. Don't you got an album you promoting? Live at Miami, some shit right now? I ain't even learned that till like the 6th live that he did. That he got an album. 5 days later, that should have been the topic of conversation. It's a live album. What I learned from all this, gang, and I'm going to keep this a buck with you, I've really been listening and watching this thing, and I did the background on Lupe. Lupe is a rap snob. Lupe is a rap snob. When you peel back all the layers, all this talking about similes and metaphors and punchlines and who's a top tier lyricist, and I teach a class at MIT, and sometimes I'm at the other place too. I school eggheads on how rappers supposed to rap. Lupe is a rap snob. And I'm going to tell you why a rap snob is the worst thing for hip hop. I'm going to tell you why. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. And he could be watching or not. It makes no difference to me. I'm not going to be disrespectful. I'm just going to keep it a buck. And absolutely not. We'll be giving out no links for no confrontations whatsoever. That will not happen. So, end of the day, Lupe Fiasco is a rap snob. And that is the worst thing you can do. Because what you're trying to do is elitist. In the clip I'm going to show you, he says these conversations should be held in private. You know what that means? We're snobs. We're elevated above most of these laymen. Most of these dudes don't know hip hop. Right? Now, the thing with hip hop, the problem with being a rap snob, hip hop is the complete opposite of snobs. It is the complete opposite. If you really understand hip hop, it's bullshit to be elitist in hip hop. That you don't. Hip hop is rebel music. You can't put a bow on it. You can't put it in a school book and tell people how to do it and what it is. No disrespect to the little. They got this meme, right? Remember the white lady used to dance and she'd be like, okay, I'm gonna teach you how to hip hop dance. She'd be like, you pump your chest out, then you bring your leg around, and she's doing hip hop, and it's beautiful, right? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. She's got to be 45 in the 80s teaching people how to dance hip hop. Great. But at some point, they're getting a watered down formula that is cleansed and sanitized for that kid who has no idea about it to now be able to preach it, practice it, speak on it, do it, try to act like they know it. The absolute worst thing you can do in hip hop is try to be elitist and try to say, I understand it better than you. You start putting all this scholastic terms on it. You're counting how many, he's literally counting how many metaphors and similes to say who's more lyrical. Then you get into that shit. You get to a point where now you're saying, well, he's okay, but he only uses 4 similes and 5 metaphors. They start counting shit. They start telling you, well, right there, you could have came back with some pronouns to describe. They start telling you and trying to figure out what makes it better, what makes it good, what made him good, what made her good. And then they start to store this knowledge up here to the point where they think they have so much knowledge that you can't tell them nothing no more. And we need to have these conversations in private. I've been involved with hip hop longer than Lupe Fiasco. Way longer. But if I start to talk hip hop to Lupe, he's going to treat me like I don't know anything. He's going to hit me with scholastic terms, and he's going to try to hit me with all of this overreaching, overbearing snob talk. He's going to start remembering and commenting on places, people, and things as if he accumulated enough knowledge to supersede anything I may say to him. And at that point, he can dismiss me and brush me off because I don't know enough of these collegiate terms. And this is why he thinks he's better than Dot. And this is why he said him and Nas, he tried to throw himself in there, but him and Nas are not in the top tier of lyrics. He said it. He tried to change it. I'm going to show you the clip, but he said it. And as I really, really listened to him and I started to learn, I'm like, oh, this dude is a punchline guy. He likes punchlines. He reveres punchlines for some weird reason. Right? And I told you in the last one, Homebody said he needs to make Clarissa Shield his girlfriend so he can be back in the public eye again. Well, I had said Clarissa explains it all. Lupe is Clarissa explains it all in this situation, and he explains it all to you. Duncan said he's already training AI on his own lyrics. So I can't trust any song he puts out. Do you know what that sounds like? I'm going to tell you what that sounds like. Training AI on your own lyrics. It sounds like the TV show Westworld. When that old man made the whole shit, he made a whole society of these robots, right? For various reasons. Because he could build them in his image and build them how he wanted to. And he wanted to study humans, but he knew that they would supersede him. It's a whole thing. And he knew at some point they would be controlling everything. At some point. I feel like Lupe feels we've gone as high as we can get with this, and AI is going to take it to the next level, and it's going to need his input, his insight to get there. Training AI on your own rhymes is wild to me. Run the jewels, Deborah. Charm Nerd. Locks, run the jewels. I appreciate you for the jewels. All right. Top Taco said Tetsuo and Youth is where he peaked in my opinion. And he got a lot of fans. Now, gang, so when as this thing started to unravel, when he started to go on more and more streams, we started to learn that he said it himself. It wasn't Dot that I was upset with, it's his fans. He's always been upset that he was left off the control verse. Came out with a reply. And he said himself this week, in this crazy week, that reply that he replied with for the Kendrick control verse, that reply was not to Kendrick, but to his fans. And a lot of that has to do with Lupe being in the comments. He literally said when that verse dropped, his fans got so annoying, no one else could breathe. That sounds like envy to me and jealousy. No one else could breathe. No one else was rapping no anymore. It was all about dot, 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 dot. And he carried that for over a decade. Not to mention, his career didn't go the same trajectory because his label was not treating him the same way. Kendrick had almost 100% autonomy or control or whatever you want to say over his career. He was allowed to do what he wanted. When you look back, Lupe was not, in no stretch of the imagination, allowed to do what he wanted. Lupe openly admits that they not only wanted him to do hit records, which he did, which is the 20 million records he's bragging about, ironically, but they gave him the records to do. I believe the owner of the label made beats, or somebody who ran the label made beats and hooks, this, that, and the third, and forced them on him and made him do these records. Or he was not going to release them. Release the whole album unless you put this record, that. And it went like that for a while. And he got tired of it. And he said himself, he shut down and just started to do these records to just get out of his contract. That will make you bitter, gang. As a creative, when I was young, you couldn't tell me nothing. I had this really good manager. I had several managers that went to bat for me, but they couldn't change me. They were like, okay, your stuff is really good, but can you do some radio stuff? I was like, absolutely not. I don't do that. Absolutely not. If something comes along out down the pipeline that you can use for the radio, then that's cool. I'm not making no radio nothing. And I frustrated a lot of managers with that. But as a creator, that's what you want. Now imagine that, but you get the dream deal. You got Jay-Z behind you. Got this, that, and the third. You get into this deal, and you're forced to do exactly what you said you would never do. That's going to make you bitter. It's going to weigh on you. When you're trying to get out of a deal that they won't let you out of, that's crazy. And his fans had to step in. His fans did a petition, 30,000 signatures. They got in front of the label. They went out there and they protested. Dropped the record. Which record was it? Was it Lasers? I'm going to get back to that. Let me get to the super chat. Danny Law said he's training AI because tech bros are looking for creatives to be their examples, idols. He is getting love from them and he tries to demand from us. That makes perfect sense, gang. You got to think, to be revered in that world and then to come back down here to earth and to be almost insignificant to a degree, online anyway. We don't talk about him until he says something about Dot. Let's just be honest. There's not a lot of Lupe discussion. And when they discuss him, they do what Koala did. Okay? Let me get to this other super chat and we're going to get back. Sosa, salute to you for this super chat. He thinks his preference and opinion is hip-hop law. That is true. But that's what an elitist would think. They would think that they're speaking the word of God. And everything else is a Kit Kat. It's fiddle faddle. It's Cracker Jacks. Sweet stuff. It ain't good for you. So we've seen him express this week that it's a lot of anger with the label still, a lot of anger with the fans, because he said over the years it's been the fans will get you killed, this, that, and the third. He has a little bit of what it sounded like in that clip where he was talking about how his fans messed up his record. He didn't say messed up, but that's what he meant. When they did that petition with the 30,000 signatures, sounded like he said your fans will get you killed. They meant well, but they went out there and they did that petition, and the label blamed me for it, and the label took it out on me, and they ruined everything, and the labels pushed my masters for me to the master to return to me. They reset it. It returns to you after a certain amount of years, right? He said when the fans did that, when the fans did that push for lasers, they got the 10,000 signatures. When the fans went out there in front of the record label, he said he had to make a choice. He had to make a choice and go out there. He had to choose his fans or choose the label. He went out there and chose his fans. The way he said it, gang, he said it like, okay, I did it. I had to choose it. I had no choice. So I went out and chose the fans. The label blamed me for it. Then when I see the clip of him out there with the fans, yeah, low key, you was way in there. I think he had a bullhorn and all kind of shit. He was out there with him, encouraging it. So you can't say now, in 2026, on the, I think it was Company Man Show, whichever podcast it was, you can't say now, like, you had your back against the wall and you chose your fans, but it really hurt you in the end. No, you went out there. You actively hyped that crowd up. I saw it with my own two eyes. So it wasn't like you got caught in the middle and you just made a choice and you made a tweet. No, you went out there. Yeah, the label took it like that. Not saying they was right, wrong, or indifferent, but it sounds like a little bit of it's resentment to his own fan base. So he resents Kendrick fan base and resents these guys. If you peel back the layers like I did. It looked like it was a backhanded thing about his fans. Your fans will get you killed. And he wasn't talking about physically. He wasn't talking about physically. He was talking about they mean well and they'll do something over the top. Right? He said he had Anonymous, the hackers. He said Anonymous stopped what they were doing when they found out that his label was jerking them around. And Anonymous threatened his label that they were going to dox them and put all the information out there, which I'm sure they would have. Somebody in Anonymous was a really big fan of Lupe. And the label blamed him, quote unquote, for that as well. So we watched Lupe on the course of this week. He has exposed some information that he never said before. He has pretty much laid a lot of stuff at our feet, which pretty much points back to he's still a little bit bitter about Dot. He don't think Dot that great of a rapper, and you guys hype him up too much. Okay? All of that was said this week in one way or the other. And then we got to the big deal. Salute to my guy Justin, L, and BK over there at Culture United. You know I rock with them. I be on Culture United too. I fortunately or unfortunately was not on this episode, and Lupe Fiasco was. All right? So he goes on, and he's on there for about 2 hours. And he's talking, doing what he does. To me, just kind of low-key talking in circles, running the table, just being allowed to run rec shop, not really get too much pushback, in my opinion, right? Because I feel like he doesn't respond well to it. And I told you, it just popped up in my, feed, it was a couple days ago. 2 days ago. It popped up in my feed where he was on an interview with Thought Crimes a year ago. And that interview went left bad. It literally starts with them already in antagonizing. So I assume they didn't want that. They didn't want that to get there, because Lupe is he agitates easily, and he really feels in his heart of hearts that he knows more than most of us. which is a recipe for disaster when you try to interview somebody, right? He likes sexy smoke, right? His label gave him more than he could handle. And in that episode of Culture United, he said some really, really weird things in the hip hop community, as rightfully so. We took issue with it. Now, there were a lot of things discussed and not discussed. And by the end of that interview, Lupe said, I am done with this, because that video had just come out and he had just seen it of Kendrick way back in, I think it was 2010. You guys can correct me. He claims he just saw this video of Kendrick online in 2010, right? Imagine that it's like 16 years ago. Talking about Eminem. Say Eminem plays with words better than anybody. I wouldn't want it with Eminem, but I will hold my own against Eminem. So the chat started naming people. Someone in the chat said Lupe Fiasco. K. Kendrick Lamar, for those that don't know, said out loud, oh, somebody said Lupe. What y'all think about Lupe? Punch of TDE, Punch, I am Punch of TDE, allegedly wrote in the chat, Lupe fell off. Right? Lupe fell off. Too much fairy tale story raps in his raps. Too much fairy tale. Right? So Kendrick said, the chat said you tripping, Punch. Clips over. Bang. Now, Lupe apparently was shown that before or during the Culture United episode. So he goes on to say, I feel like a fool for what I said back in 2014 to what I said right now and after. Because insinuating that what he had just heard was egregious enough that he said that you guys are going to vindicate me when you see it too. Right? And you know what he said in 2014 to Ebro and Paul Rosenberg? Claims he wasn't hating. He claims he was trolling. Peter Rosenberg. It's only right to mix them two names up. It's only right. It's hip hop. Peter Rosenberg. He told Peter Rosenberg that he could name some rappers better than K. Dot. Then this is 2014, gang. It's a long time ago. And he still was saying I can name rappers better. He named Logic of all names. Logic. He named King Los. And at one point he had named Joe Budden. All of them. Better than Dot. According to the illustrious Lupe Fiasco. He said these things, not me. Even back then, Logic, like what we talk about? So they did speak about that on the Culture United show, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was that show. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he stood on that Logic comment. He said that 1-800, I believe, what is it, 1-800-SUICIDE, I believe the name of the thing is. That is a seminal record in history. And he also said that Logic is a fan of mine, which has nothing to do with anything. He started it with Logic is a big fan of me. What? What does that got to do with what are we talking about? So he stood on that, so he wouldn't budge off of that. Right? So he still feel a way about it's something he wants to prove to us that Dot ain't as good as we think. Still in 2026, he still got this on his is on his shoulder. Y'all not listening to me. I'm telling you guys, he ain't that great like you keep hyping him. You guys low key, you making a mountain out of molehill. He all right. I mean, he nice. He da. Mind you, he gave Dot the Lupe Fiasco Next Up award, right? Kendrick Lamar is the next up. He gave him the award on stage when they was on stage. So all of this is transpiring this week. Is crazy, right? You guys are losing your mind. Lupe this, Lupe that. And he seems to get more and more agitated as the week goes on. He starts really talking real, like, listen, West Side type shit, right? So, at the end of this interview, after everything's said and done, after he says what he says about Nas, and I'm going to get to that, he says, I'm done. I'm not talking about this no more. You won't see Lupe for a while. I'm going to focus on this tour, focus on this music, whatever I got going on, and this album, whatever got, you won't see Lupe for a while. I think that was enough. I think you've done enough, gang. You know the meme where he puts his head on the homeboy's shoulder, right? I think you've done enough. I think that is a very good idea. Very, very good idea. Just, you know what? Just fall back, right? How Tribe Called Quest say, thank you for your service, right? We got it from here. Thank you for your service. He sparked all these conversations about lyricism, this, that, and the third. And I'm just sitting back listening like, what are you talking about? This snob elitist attitude about lyricism where you just went on a world tour of, you disrespect two of the best lyricists to ever do it. You disrespect Dot and you disrespect Nas on this little world tour. Or podcast tour, what you want to call it. And I'm sitting there watching him like, first things first, when you peel back the layers, he's trying to say where he ranks, meaning what fans say. Most of his agitation comes from what fans have been saying since 2010. And he's storing that stuff up. And when you start talking about Nas, you can't go by what fans say. You said it yourself. Most of them ain't even ready for the conversation. But he goes and starts talking about punchlines and how Nas doesn't rank high because he doesn't have punchlines. Someone put in the chat. Someone wrote in the chat when he was on Culture United. So Nas doesn't do a lot of punchlines. Is he not ranking high on as a lyricist? And in an elitist fashion, he says that Nas is his man. He named himself after something in the firm, firm fiasco. Nas the firm. He named himself after that. So that's a testament to Nas. So Nas is the king. But at the same time, you don't say Nas don't rank high in any category. If you're playing, if hip hop is Madden, Nas is a 99. Punchlines or not. And Nas does punchlines. So you don't start any sentence or end any sentence with Nas don't rank high. Right there, no matter the context. I don't need the rest. I don't need the rest. Because Nas ranks high in every category. I don't need the rest of the conversation. But he came on to King Green and Toure's stream. Once again, after he told us, I'm fading to black. You're not gonna see Lupe no. You ain't gonna see Lupe no more. Right? Poison Ivy said the firm was Nas, Foxy, and AZ, by the way. Let's not forget about Nature. We're not gonna forget about Nature. Nas a 99 overall. So the statement was foo-foo. And I'm going to be honest. I'm tired of people keep trying to tell us something's wrong with us when we react. They keep trying to tell us we're Neanderthals. They've been telling us for 2 years. Since this battle and up to right now, we're Neanderthals. We're Kendrick out. We're bugged out. Da-da-da-da-da. We don't know hip-hop. And Cormega, right? Cormega was in the firm, right? Allegedly, right? Cormega left. Nature came in. And somebody did go on my thing when I wrote something about it. They went on my thing and was like, Challz, you're taking it out of context. I don't see the context. I don't see the context. Even if you try to self-deprecate and say, well, I won't rank high either. Either you're being disingenuous or your idea of lyricism is twisted. Because to me, Nas studied, I'm going to say it again, he studied at the School of Rakim and he learned it and perfected it. This is why you cannot teach it. And I know this may sound crazy. You cannot teach hip-hop on a college campus. It can't be done. You can teach the events that happened in hip-hop. You can't teach how to hip-hop. Can't. Then you're going to be that white lady. It's step one, step twice. Step once, step twice, swing your hips. You're going to be her trying to teach people something you had to learn, and you're not doing it that great either. The only way to learn this is to be a part of it. It's instinctual. And I learned years ago, you learn how to rap from listening to really great rappers. And going out there yourself and learning how to rap. And going into the ciphers and going into the parks and going into the parties or wherever. Grabbing mics, going to open mics. Going into the studio. Getting around other rappers and forming rap cliques. Bouncing ideas off each other. Ain't nobody gonna come out of MIT knowing how to do any of that. They're gonna have this trumped up understanding with all this scholastic language and counting N-words like what's the dirt, trying to figure out how to rap better. You can't teach this. Because then when you start teaching it, that's going to assume that there's a right way and a wrong way. You can have opinions or you can have theories and how you feel, okay, this guy, that guy. If you were teaching this, a lot of the legends wouldn't be allowed to be in it. If there was a manual, we wouldn't even have half the people that we have as legends right now. Where does Kid and Play fit into this? Right? When you're teaching about similes and metaphors, where does Kid and Play fit in? Are they good? Are they bad? Sold millions of records. They made millions of dollars off movies like House Party. Right? Where do the Fat Boys fit into this class of hip hop? There is not one thing that you can teach that's going to say that's how hip hop is. Ain't no one way to do this. Ain't no one way to do this. Ain't no book. Let me go back to Sosa. Super chat. You can't teach how to create art from oppression and poverty and pain. Hip-hop comes from oppression, poverty, and pain. You can't shine that up and make it into a college course. You can teach the events of it. There ain't no numerical formula that you can make to tell people how rap is supposed to go. And that's what Lupe's trying to do. They're in the comments. Kid and Play, Curtis Blow, Dougie Fresh, Scarface. By the time you're done with this class, you're going to have people coming out of that class telling us what hip-hop is supposed to be. So when the next guy come up completely out of left field with a whole new style and a whole new thing going on, they're going to be like, nope. Ain't enough metaphors, not enough pronouns, and similes in there. He's not lyrical enough according to Lupe. He didn't dot enough I's, cross enough T's. I don't agree with it. All of these things are subjective. You can't put them in a formula. And granted, I didn't see the class. I don't know what he's teaching. But based on how he's carrying himself on the internet, I'm sure the class is full of Lupeisms where he's telling them from his point of view what hip hop is and what it ain't. Force MDs in full force. Where do they fit in? It is too much artistic value in hip hop to try to quantify it with a formula. Then we start talking about this person bars versus that person bars. That's why the whole conversation that Lupe is a better lyricist than Kendrick is dumb. Because by whose standards? I said it in the last video, and I'm going to say it again. Do you know who decides who's good in hip-hop? The people. That's who. And let's get this straight. The people have decided they like Dot. It is what it is. It is what it is. And this is bothering him because every year and a half, 2 years, he got to come out of nowhere and remind you that Dot ain't that good. Based on all the digits and the statistics I've put into the computer, his score is beneath mine. Oh, he has better production than me. I'll give you that. He has a better team. He has a better label. He's better at telling stories. I don't really want to tell stories to you guys. But bar for bar, if you just give me a pen and give him a pen, I'm thematically better. It is what it is. Ask my friends. We talk about it in private. It's too much culture. It's too many diverse voices to try to say what's lyrical and what's not. Now, I get it. I say this story all the time. When I was younger, I was that guy. I was Lupe. I was like, this guy ain't lyrical. That guy lyrical. We picked and chose who fit our narrative. And we picked and chose them quickly. Your first video, we was like this. Bon, we watch it. Okay, that guy's lyrical. That guy's not. And some people grew on you after a while. Right? And hip-hop started to change. We started to get Onyx and this, that, and the third. It's like, they're not lyrical, but there's something else. And we, low-key, it's growing on us. Right? So we started to get different vibes in hip-hop. And a lot of them were really good. Buckshot Shorty, is he lyrical or not? Like, we could go all day. We can go all day. I can name you 1,000 rappers. And have him name, is he lyrical? Is he not lyrical? Like, all day. At some point, it's the people that decide if he's lyrical or not. Yes, you can have your opinion. You can say it. But when you start matter-of-facting us and telling us, I'm better than Kendrick lyrically, what do lyrics mean? What are we talking about? I personally prefer Kendrick. I prefer his music over Lupe. He had a chance. Right? And you're going to have some diehard fans in here saying, well, the cool was that. Oh, Lasers that. You're going to have his fans, Tetsuo and you're going to have his fans saying this, that, and the third. But he had a chance. He made some really big records. Let's just be honest. The show must go on and Superstar. He got some really big records. So we're not going to do that, but he hates the records. He claims that the people forced them on him. He didn't even want to do these records. I personally, when you start getting too technical, and he named what's homeboy from the West Coast? He was making a point about Nas, and he named homeboy from the West Coast that just passed away. Rest in peace to what's homeboy's name? He's very lyrical, and that's the thing. There are different levels of lyrical. What's homeboy's name? Spanish dude. Razzcazz. He with Razzcazz and them, that elk. Very lyrical. Chino XL, right? Tupac said, F you, Chino XL. F you, Chino XL, right? Yes, Chino XL was very lyrical. There are different styles of lyricism too. You got your punchline guy. You got your ghetto pastor, preacher guy. You got all kind of lyrical. Chino XL. Salute to Illy Philly. He brought up Chino XL in the Nas conversation. Yes, Chino XL was very lyrical. Technically, this guy was technically sound. And I know what technically sound is. I listened to literally everything all through the 80s and 90s. And I know, okay, he's technically sound. Razzcazz, technically sound. But you know what happens with them guys? They're technically sound. They get so technical that they lose the artist. I mean, they lose the audience. And what happens is, not saying the real hip-hop heads, oh, yeah, we love it. We love it. Alcoholics and hieroglyphics and all that. King T, all that stuff, da-da-da. We love it. Exhibit, da-da-da. But end of the day, someone can do all of that, but also package it up and do other songs that are palatable. That's what Kendrick did. And a lot of people like him because he can walk that line and do both. I feel like Lupe walked the line for a while, then he self-destructed because he got tired of being looked at as a puppet in his own mind. He's like, they're giving me the records. I'm not making them. They're feeding them to me. They're giving me the beat. They're giving me the hook. At some point, that artistic, that's stunting your growth. They don't trust me. And he started to blow up himself. He blew up his own record. The record after Lasers and this, that, and the third. He went another direction on his own. And he hates that the culture didn't collectively follow him there. He went there on his own and we didn't follow. It's just a fact. And we moved on to other rappers such as Drake and Kendrick and people of that ilk. And he didn't get followed to where he's going. And that burns. So every time he look up, he's saying that somebody's saying something good about Kendrick. And he's like, man, I'll eat that nigga. That's what it is. In his mind, he'll eat him. It ain't even close. Lyrically, pen to pad, I'll eat that dude. But every time he says it, he gets in trouble. And he has to delete it. Or so-called apologize. Because the fans don't accept it. And that bothers him too. That the fans do not accept it. The fans spoke. You're going against the fans. That's why this week has been so full of turmoil and people are scared to touch it with a 10-foot pole because the stuff you're saying, the fans don't like it. A lot going on in the chat. Let me read this. I have a friend who's a huge Lupe fan. He went to one of his concerts, bought Lupe merch just for the concert, and Lupe called him out on stage and told him his gear was fake, hostile to his own fans. That's important because that's a man that's bitter. Just like Logic told Homeboy to get off the phone when he was up there rapping. Homeboy's like, listen, I have an emergency. My kids, I gotta be on the phone, gang. I know you want full attention, but it's bitter. He can't accept that the fans have decided this is the side we're on. Lupe's cool, but we're going a different direction. We're still going to respect what you do. And that's what Koala T was telling him. He said, Lupe, you take too long to get to the point. You're confusing the fans. I've had people in the comments say, I like Lupe, but some of the stuff is over my head. And then Lupe goes on the show and starts talking about Amy Winehouse, Jesus, zombies. It's over everybody's head. And that's cool if that's where you are with it. I told you I used to be a lyrical miracle, and I was all over the place, all this spiritual shit, all this stuff I used to write about, that was over everybody's head too. I was Encyclopedia Brown. But you got to accept that. If that's who you are, you can't point at everybody else and say, well, that's whack. He ain't lyrical. That's where the trouble comes. When you keep pointing at this man who's saying nothing to you. And they try to make us seem crazy when we defend him. Or not even defend him. It ain't even necessarily defending him. It's calling Lupe out. Lupe wants vindication for what? No one's coming at you. You're looking at that old ass video from Punch saying Lupe fell off. Well, apparently you got on the phone with Punch and worked it out allegedly. Punch told everybody, calm down, relax. We talked it out. We had a conversation, and Lupe, we spoke on everything. We spoke on the Monster Freestyle. And even in the Monster Freestyle gang, I went back and listened to it again. I don't know what's happening. I get it. Lupe and Kendrick and all of them is from a different elk than me as far as age. Because I'm from the 80s people, and they're from the late 90s, early 2000s elk of MC. I don't know what changed. But all he said in the Monsters verse was basically, I'm coming after you and your fans, da-da-da. He didn't diss him. He said a bunch of people's name in the verse. He didn't diss nobody. He said what rappers say. And I get it. Rappers are some of the most sensitive people on earth. And apparently, him saying what he said in the Monster verse, the Monster Freestyle, Kendrick said in the Monster Freestyle, he named a bunch of rappers, and Lupe was one of them. So he's still living that down. Right? End of the day. So we're still there. We're still in that same moment, as opposed to taking not even the high road, right? You can respond. Rappers have responded and shake hands and all that after and moved on. We've never had 10 years of blatant. At some point, it's disrespect when you keep saying he's not as good as you think he is. That Control verse was overhyped and whack. He literally said that. And I'm better than him lyrically. He beats me in everything else. At some point, I said it on Twitter. At some point, if he beats you in everything else but one thing, at some point, you're Allen Iverson and he's Jordan. And you're bragging about your crossover. And at some point, we don't care about the crossover. We want a full player that's going to get us 6 rings. Bragging about lyricism when there's a huge discussion of hip-hop, what a rapper is flow, is tone. And they talk about it in the clip. Bragging about a crossover is insanity to me. When you're talking about how many things it goes into making a good basketball player, and there's one guy that outclasses almost everybody in the field, except for a few. Jordan only outclassed he only had a couple people on his level. It was a dozen or so. Even if you say it's 20 people, 50 people in the league, whatever you want to say, it ain't that many in the league at the time as Jordan. But even if you want to say that, it's not as many on his level and could do what he does to compete with him. So if you keep coming around with this one thing, crossover, this one thing, lyricism, I'm better than that at lyricism. At some point, it's like, Who cares, my guy? Okay, go sit down. I personally, as a rapper, to me, I'm going to keep this a buck. And I get it. We hang our hats on a lot of shit. I would be embarrassed to keep saying for 10 years, lyrically, I'm better than him, but he's better than me at everything else. It's weird. Somebody has to say this. Okay, Johnny, go sit down. Get your crayons, get your coloring book, go color. Like, we're still talking about this. Okay, you're better. Talk. We got it, bro. What we doing? I don't understand how this is still an issue. I think we progressed from, okay, let me keep it a buck. Rappers really used to take lyricism to heart. And that was the number one thing you wanted to be. When you sat down with your pen and your paper, you wanted to be lyrical. That was the number one thing. Now, it's a lot more to being a successful rapper. You want to have a fan base. You want to be able to move units. You want to be able to put people in the seats. You want to be able to make big records, hit records that's going to do well at the festivals you're surely going to do. You don't want to sit there and just be like, yo, take out the beat and listen to me rap. That's not where we're at no more, by G. Yes, we want everybody likes a good acapella here and there. Can't have no whole acapella record. You can't have no whole cerebral record right now. You can, but your fan base is going to be niche. And you can't be angry about it. Dr. 3 Media said Lupe Benzino. I said it the other night. I said, Benzino hates Eminem. He don't mince words. We get it. End of story. He don't try to act like he don't. Motherfucker went to Detroit, bought that goddamn spaghetti. He bought the spaghetti, took one bite, threw the shit on the ground. Yes, Benzino, we get it. We got it. He crying on drink champs. That's how much he hate the guy. So we get it. When you hate him, you hate him. Lupe do the same stuff, but then he want to say at the end of it, but Dot is my guy. I'm good with TDE. Punch is my dog. No, dude, we see right through it. You either got to stop talking about it or go all the way in. We can't. This middle ground ain't working. It's weird. Lupe Benzino. So I say all that to say, right? All that to say this. Your boy did not stay gone. He said, I'm going to be gone for a while. You're not going to see you ain't got good old Lupe to kick around. I'm going downtown. I'm going back to my house and I'm stay there. Nope. I don't even think so. This was yesterday. What was yesterday? Is it Wednesday night? So yesterday was Tuesday. And the whole thing with what happened when he said that was a couple days back. He said so he said that last Wednesday. Okay, so he said that last Wednesday on Culture United. And I'm not sure if he popped up in anybody else's stream, but it was not. He could have. You guys can let me know. I'm not sure if he popped up in anybody else's stream. Right? What's today? Monday? Today is Tuesday? Okay, Raphael, my bad. I'm in the future right now. So today is Tuesday, right? So yesterday was Monday. So from Wednesday, when he signed off on off of Culture United, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The weekend was 4th of July. I don't know if he popped up in anybody else's stream. But by Monday, B-Mod said Lupe stole the days of the week from Challz. Yeah, he stole me. Now listen, this whole week been crazy. It's been a week and a half. But by Monday of this week, after the fireworks, Lupe popped up in Toure and King Green's live. Like as the kids like to say, lurking, right? Lurking. Boss said Challz showed us the privilege of not having a 9 to 5. I definitely work for a living. I earn a living, gang. Oh, he was in Glasses stream on Friday? Okay, so there it is. He didn't make it. He didn't make it in full 5 days. So by Friday, he was in Glasses stream. Did he really go to Miss Humming's stream on Sunday? Holy smokes. Right? You can't handle the truth. He in the stream talking about something. Damn right I ordered the code red. Salute to Tiptoe Joe for the super chat. If he didn't, he will watch. Right? Got a whole bunch of Jews. Salute to the run the Jews. I see all the Jews. I see all the Jews. Let me call out some Jews, before we get to this clip. Let me see what's going on. I still don't know what Amy Winehouse sadly, I kind of got it. Amy Winehouse, zombies, Jesus. I kind of got it. That's what's sad about it. I get it. It's weird, but I get it a little bit. But it's too much. It's too much. It's not enough for me to teach a class on it. But I was like, zombies, Amy Winehouse, okay, I'm listening. Like, I really wasn't, because I don't even remember I didn't even watch the shit. But I get the sentiment a little bit. It's weird as hell. It's like some like Fallout, Walking Dead shit. I don't know, man. All things Tam Tam said, school's on summer break, so he's bored. Queen B with the Jews. So I say all that to say this. Scissor said, explain it. I'm not explaining it. Way too much. It's way too much to get into at this juncture. Soldier said, it's not deep, Challz, it's just a puzzle. So, guys, the moment we've been waiting for, the clip of Toure and King Green. This is Lupe defending himself against the allegations that he said Nas is not a top tier lyricist. This is Lupe defending himself on the stream. Salute to King Green. Salute to Toure. They're on some legendary status right now. They're doing their thing. Let's get to the clip for those who have not seen it.
$1 million in the tank. I generally don't have too much time. Normally, I ain't got time today. I'm busy as shit. But the other days, I wasn't doing shit. So I had time to just do all type of random shit.
How are you?
I'm excellent. Life is great. It's fantastic.
It's nice to see you.
What's up, Toure? Toure, you remember when we first met?
I remember interviewing you. Mm-hmm. We met in Chicago. We met in Chicago.
I remember, perhaps. We were in a few different spaces together, but the pivotal moment was at the Grammys. You were doing red carpet, and it was me, my mom. It was J. Cole and his mom.
Okay.
And it was the meeting of like the rappers and their moms, and you were like moderating that interaction. It was pretty. It's one of my favorites.
Now, I did tell you that he was way more personable on this interview, on this live. Likeable, right? Smiling. He was engaging. He was comfortable. We got a different Lupe than we have during the other lives where he was combative. So I do have to give him points. I have to notch it up a little bit that he was not a jerk on this particular interview. So I got to give him a couple points for that.
Pictures of all time.
Okay.
Oh, true.
All right.
Yeah, it was a vibe.
So wait, you got an album coming out?
No, I'm not promoting. I have an album out. It's called Live in Miami Beach. It's a live album we did in Miami Beach, but I'm not here for that because I got time. I want to focus on one thing, and that's this thing.
Okay.
So if you can, Green, salute you. I really only came to chat to salute you, and I was on my way to do something else. Salute you for your take on rap and hip hop and the technical side of things, and being able to kind of parse out what the conversations we actually try to have on a higher level. And I do agree that some of these conversations shouldn't be had in the public. So to your point about shut the fuck up, yeah, you want to talk about me, nigga?
All right, hold on. So right there, and I get it. King Green did initiate that. I'm going to have to keep it a buck about some of the conversations shouldn't be had in the public. Some of them shouldn't be had in the public. But at the end of the day, when you do have them in the public, it don't mean that they can't handle it, right? It doesn't mean that we can't handle it. Yeah, some people are dumb, some people this, that, and the third, but it don't mean that you can't have these conversations in public. I just disagree with that. I feel like there are people, they'll get out of the chat if they don't want to hear it. These are things that you can have, and I guess he's saying that they're going to clip me up and use my words against me. I don't know what he's trying to say, but to me, that's elitist a little bit. Anything you can say can be digested, but we can handle it, gang. Most of us that are hip-hop heads can handle these conversations. They ain't that deep, let's be honest.
But I'm just saying, like, in general,
I also wasn't talking about you.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I do think there's certain once these conversations go into a certain academic realm, then they don't need to be public, right? And I do appreciate you, Justin.
Gang, hold up, and it's not gonna be. Listen. I keep saying this. Salute. I like King Green. I like Toure, and I'm searching my feelings about Lupe. But you're gonna say once the conversation reaches a certain academic level, gang, that is super snobbery. That is super elitist. We're watching this is the rich of rap. Like this is how the rich talk. This is super elitist. We're too smart to have this conversation amongst these people. I'm just gonna be honest. Salute to them. Salute to King Green though.
Guy, peer reviewed,
exactly, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I do appreciate Justin having a little bit of that, and he has some folks on there. So like Mickey IT has his space, and Mickey comes from Sosa, and Sosa is all about having those conversations, right? But we do it in private. They're very private. But anyway, just to clarify this thing, couple minutes. Go to that talk of Justin. Don't go to the source because the source is wrong. Go to the actual talk with me and Justin and the panel on CU. Okay.
I'm gonna try to pull it up right now.
I'm gonna shoot him a little bit of bail. I'm gonna shoot him a teeniest bit of bail. It's still very elitist. He's trying to say we're friends and we know what each other are thinking, this, that, and the third, to a degree, and we're capable of discussing the stuff to each other. It's still extremely elitist to say these things. We're on a certain level that we can handle these difficult these difficult conversations. Let me get this coming back. So Furry B is not as good as all. Listen, I don't know, man.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
And then fast forward through it, because I think it's like 6 hours. I was only there for like the first 2 hours.
Does Lupe think Logic is better?
I'm not talking about that. Get out of here.
Where is it?
Okay, so fast forward to where the super chat comes in. There's gonna be a big yellow super chat.
Mind you, they were already live when he came in.
This is blue super chat, green super chat. There's a yellow super chat.
Else, I'm not worried about that, but I do need to keep it measured and straight so niggas know. Fans get people killed.
In a better position.
I'm trying to stop.
Right, I've done every major festival in the world, except Rolling Loud or whatever. But those are past my generation.
In a better position.
I think it's coming up here. The yellow.
Right,
it might be before that. Is that it?
Petition to the label. The label looked at me like.
Lyricism, painting, portrait. This is a yellow one.
Okay, back up. I think it's earlier.
I just found a video of us and your mom and Cole and his mom. We got in a second.
Some beautiful clip. Yeah, there's a bunch of yellow ones. Let me see this one. Nas, here it goes.
Okay.
Nas doesn't have great punchlines, so he's not lyrical. Okay, let's listen to it.
That's so important to me.
Wait, no, back up before the super chat comes in.
Okay.
People think I'll be starting it. I'll say it first.
So to your point, even I'll land the plane. When you said your definition, it was kind of context dependent. Like that's also true. So I think little pieces of all our definitions are in it. But it just becomes after that, it's a matter of subjection.
Cool. What do you think is second?
Tone.
Second to
bars, punches, lyricism.
Tone.
Like if you're grading the quality of
Tone.
the tone of your voice.
That's
Tone of a voice is important.
I
actually
think tone of your voice is first, but since we were talking about lyrics and punchlines, or lyrics, I'll put lyrics just for the sake of conversation, but I actually think tone is the most important thing. I think it's what people gravitate to more than
voice and
anything.
imagination. How is someone conveying something I've been hearing my entire life throughout the whole length of human history, but they're presenting it in a new way? You know what I mean? Like love is hard because everybody in every art medium has been talking about that. The moon in visual arts, the sun, like these things have been here throughout the entire course of history. But how do you convey a point in a way that makes us feel like we just heard? Makes us feel like we've just heard that for the first time. Difficult things in the world to me, just to convey in general. And those are the two things I think about the most when I think about whether or not an MC is dope or not.
Same. And I feel like adding on to that, like to the tone piece, like if
can't tap
you
through
saying
this?
it makes me want to learn it and say it,
It's coming right
like
here.
rates so
Okay.
high for me.
Did it just come up?
It's like, oh my God, that
Yeah, it just came up.
sounded so
All right, now
fun
pause.
to perform. And they sounded
Pause this. Because I deal in receipts.
Oh, God.
I'm not a liar. I'm not a salacious dude. I'm not chasing
Yeah.
hype.
Yeah.
I deal in, bring that screen back up.
Wait, can we talk about tone for 1 second?
Wait, nope. We gonna finish this.
He said he ain't got time.
Then we gonna land the plane because I gotta jump in the shower and I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Wait, but I want to know what you mean by tone, and I want to question you
Oh,
on
the tone conversation. I think that I think if we this conversation was about lyrics and lyricism. Right?
Sure.
So everything around this conversation was pointed at lyricism. Everybody on that panel had a different definition of what lyricism meant to them and what it meant in general. So somebody gave a actual, even to where you gave just the dictionary definition of lyricism, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you also noted that that's not complete,
Yes.
right? It doesn't take into consideration the experience of the craft, how the craft features it, and then how the practitioners of the craft approach it and how the audience approaches it. So everybody on this panel, some are rappers, some are pundits, some are
Yeah.
everybody had a different point. The whole goal was to get to like a unified version, a unified theory of everything as it relates to lyricism, right? So my particular point of view was punchlines. That's the way I look at everything. How I grade a really great rapper as it relates to lyricism is like, oh, do they got punches? So I can hear.
Guys, I need you to understand what he's saying right here. This is very important to the psyche of Lupe and how he perceives lyricism and good MCs. He's heavily telling you, he's heavily leaning on your punchlines. And I get it. Punchlines are cool. They're great. I personally think a MC that relies on punchlines is lower than anybody that really gives a detailed, a better, they can paint pictures and images. That person, a Nas, is 10 times more lyrical, who can describe ghetto trauma, pain, childhood issues with the mom and pop. They are light years ahead of a punchline rapper. Not taken away from a punchline rapper, but that stuff only goes but so far, right? For instance, a Big L is a punchline rapper. We don't know what he would have become, but at the time, Big L, for the most part, was very punchline, all right? that's a difference. That's a different kind of animal than say a Scarface or a Jay-Z, right? Or we saw what Biggie could do when you give Biggie 2 CDs to Phil. Biggie gonna tell you all kind of stories from this, that, and the third. They're gonna be pain music. Then there's gonna be some street stuff. So it is it's difficult to me to put punchlines as the top thing that an MC needs to possess. But this is what Lupe is starting to say.
Hear the story about your mom, and I can hear the story about, you know, you learning how to drive a car for the first time. But did you have similes in it and dope punchlines in it?
Let me just add one.
Wait. Right there. I know this ain't the super secret conversations that you need to have in private. Because he's basically telling me he lit in his gang, and is absolutely, this is insane to me. That Lupe is literally putting right there for all of us to hear. No matter how good your thing is, he wants to know, did you put, and I get it, I'm being a little unfair, but he wants to know, did you put similes in it? And did you put metaphors in it? And did you put punchlines? Gang, this is rudimentary shit. I'm just going to be honest. This is my first rap kit shit. I don't think this is rapping at a higher level shit to me, gang. I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I know I can be wrong. But that statement right there sounds asinine to me. You could have wrote the most beautiful thing ever, and he's looking for your similes and metaphors. Let me continue.
So one thing, to me, the most important thing that an MC can do is flow. Above all the things you're saying, I don't know if you're assuming flow within all, because to me, flow above tone, flow above lyrics,
flow is
and
important.
your rhythmic relationship to the beat and becoming a drum within the track, and like that is the most interesting thing that an MC can do sonically for me, and everything else goes after that.
Okay, but so if we zoom out and the conversation goes away from lyrics and we just say artists as a whole, what do I think people gravitate to the most? I think it's the tone of someone's voice, right? Like it's their voice.
That's the first thing that
It's
grabs you is the tone
way
of the
that
voice.
their
That is
voice
true.
sounds sonically. I think that's the most immediate thing we pick up on, even if we don't understand what they're
Before
saying.
you
Like you can
finish
listen
the
to
bar,
the
you're
Japanese
gonna hear
hip
the
hop,
voice.
not know what the fuck they're saying, and it still be vibes. Right, you can still feel energy, emotion. It's really just the tone of their voice, even without understanding what they're saying. So I think that is tone. I tell my students that is tone, the most important thing. But this conversation was specifically about lyrics, so that's why I didn't say tone. But when she asked second, I said, "Oh, tone," and then we get into this whole diatribe about tone of voice. And as we're talking about tone, a super chat comes in, and Toure and your wonderful melodic, but also stern journalistic voice. Could you please read this super chat that I did not write?
Nas doesn't have great punchlines, so is he not lyrical? What about other literary devices? I remember Lou praising Blue back in the day.
Shout out to Blue.
He also isn't a punchline heavy MC. How can we reconcile this?
First of all, this question is a trap. But second of all, Lupe is trying to prove that he didn't start the conversation about Nas, which is irrelevant. That is the most irrelevant part of the whole thing. He came back on this show on Rap Latte just to prove someone else started the conversation. That's why Lupe came here. That's why he's here. Not because he disagrees with what he said or he's going to change your opinion on what he said. He wants to prove that there was a yellow super chat that started it. It wasn't me.
It's a very thoughtful super chat.
Now, mind you, at this point in the conversation, we're still talking about tone. If you press play, Justin is going to be talking about tone, or BK is going to be talking about tone, and then eventually Justin is going to read this super chat. Now, all the clips that you have seen about this are going to start from the end of this chat, of the end of Justin reading this super chat.
Right.
They're not going to mention the other part. So it's going to sound like I come in and introduce Nas into the conversation.
So shall
I gotta learn it right now so that I can embody it. Like that delivery and the brand new thoughts or thinking new thoughts or in Octavia Butler's world, like there are new suns, right? Like there's nothing new under the sun, but there may be new suns. And so I think that's the exciting part of like going beyond even lyricism. That's so important to me.
That's what's up. We'll second applause. I like this comment right here, this super chat from Leo the Lion says, Nas doesn't have great punchlines, so is he not lyrical? What about other literary devices? I remember Lou praising Blue back in the day. He also isn't a punchline heavy MC. How can we reconcile this? Open floor.
So in terms of like, if you compare Nas to, if you remove, like again, for me, remove the beat, remove everything else, and just go with the words. If you threw Nas into, and you created those people who rap, which is a big list. There's hundreds of thousands of rappers. And you remove all that, he wouldn't rank high. I wouldn't rank high.
That's not even the question, but I don't know what he's even trying to answer because the guy asked him, is he not lyrical? So I guess he's saying he's going to rank high on the lyrical rappers. It's a convoluted question because the guy's asking about punchlines. And he's talking about remove the beat and do this, that, and third. He's not going to rank high. Rank high in what? But it appears you're saying he's not going to rank high lyrically. But then again, you got to remember what he said earlier. He wants to hear punchlines. So by Lupe's warped sense of hip-hop, which is we're finding out is rudimentary, he's saying that Nas not going to rank high because he don't have a lot of punchlines, and I don't either. Gang, I can't make this shit up. I can't make it up. No, he didn't bring up Nas, but he disrespected Nas by saying he don't rank high because he don't have punchlines. No one says that. That's not how this works. Everybody likes punchlines, but we don't put that above all and the end all be all. Matter of fact, when we're looking for pain music and stuff that got some substance, we're not even trying to hear no punchlines in it. Just gonna be honest.
Doesn't mean we're not lyricists in our space, but when you isolate it to that, just that fundamental part, a lot of people don't rank high.
Toure's confused.
It doesn't take away from. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, nigga.
Can y'all hear me? Let
it play. No.
Keep
let
going.
it play. No, let it play.
Yeah.
Play it
I'm
out.
just confused on why
Me
you said
too.
you wouldn't rank high.
It doesn't take. I'm saying because I know beasts, like people who all they do is punchlines, similes, entendres all day, right? And I also know that I'm really high, but I also know there's thousands. Right, and we haven't done a count. We haven't done a survey. We haven't done a proper summary. It was something I wanted to
Hold
do.
on, let me say this before he continues. Once you start to peel, I've heard this several times, and every time I hear it differently. But the one thing that I'm starting to understand from beginning to end is Lupe values punchlines over everything. Then his metaphors, similes, entendres, double entendres, and this, that, and the third. So he wants you to be witty, this, that, and the third. He don't want you to have like a lot of substance. He needs it to be gotcha moments and hard hitting words that make you say, oh, he wants to hear that, and that makes you good. I disagree. That makes you good to a certain level. There is a peak, to me, there is a peak for punchline rappers. Fabulous, Redman, I love these guys, but they got a peak. There is a peak with all that. Let me continue.
A couple years ago, we might do it in the future if things like this become more people get interested in that, to really see how many rappers are there in the world. I reached out to Spotify, I reached out to SoundCloud, and tried to get a list, even though some of that is like proprietary information and is private. The count of how many rappers there are in the world, and out of that, how many are in this genre, how many do this, how many do that, and then you can sit and test skill. It'll take some time, but it doesn't take away from Nas as a lyricist at all, because he's Nas. Like, that's crazy. But if you start to is when you compare him to just like punches, the guy said it himself. Nas don't have a lot of punches.
Gang, this get more blatant the more you listen to it. It's not that he was not misquoted. The guy who wrote the thing on Twitter didn't misquote him. He tried to say that the guy misquoted him. You were not misquoted, my guy. You reiterated and reinforced from the time that clip From the time you started to address that super chat, after Justin said open floor, everything you said reinforced that you're trying to say Nas ain't that good because he don't do a lot of punchlines. You love him anyway, and you revere him, and you're inspired by him, all this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, you say he won't rank high and you won't either because you're a punchline guy. You want the technical stuff. You want the Chino XL, Razzcast, Redman. You want that, which is cool. Alcoholics and this, that, and the third. There is a ceiling, Lord Finesse, right? There's a ceiling for that. And everybody I named had a ceiling in this hip-hop thing. All of them. They don't go past a certain point because you can only go so far. So how can you put punchline rappers as the upper echelon of hip-hop? Your whole view of this is valid. You are not that smart like you're making it. That is one of the weirdest fucking takes I've ever heard.
Right? He don't have a lot of like bars like that.
And this is why he thinks he's killing K-Dot. Because he's going to sit down and write a whole bunch of punchlines. Gang, I can't make this shit up. Jermaine said, please don't die over the neighborhood that your mama renting. It's not punchy, but man, you can tell me it's not lyrically a 10 out of 10. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for the super chat. Is this the upper echelon conversation that is too much for us laymen's? That's too in-depth for us to process? When you peel back all this stuff he's saying, when you really put it all in a mixing bowl and mix it together, Lupe Fiasco, definition of a dope MC is a punchline rapper with a lot of similes and metaphors. Point blank, period. There's nothing else to say. That's what he's trying to say. That's what he's trying to say. This elitist upper echelon level shit is a dude that do punchlines. Right? Pharaoh Monch. Reaction just said Pharaoh Monch is the greatest lyricist of all time. Listen, I love lyrical guys that can punch you to death and do all this stuff. The moon, stars, Jupiter, fly through the sky. I love to hear that stuff. But when I really want to get in my bag of hip hop and I really want to get deep and get away and get my mind right, I'm not looking for punchlines, gang. Just gonna be honest. If I do my top 20 classic albums of ever in history, it's gonna be very few punchline rappers in there. You're gonna get a Quimini, right? You're gonna get some Blueprint. You're gonna get some stuff that's saying some stuff. And I get it. We love punchlines. I'm not going to have too many records by Fabulous in my top 20 of all time. Sorry. You're going to get Mr. Morale. You're going to get Damn. You're going to get Good Kid, Mad City. I don't know what this guy's talking about. I'm just going to be honest. And yes, we love punchlines. We love battle raps, this, that, and the third. But hip-hop, when it's at its best, it's painting pictures, gang. It's telling you about this world. And I'm not saying he don't have depth. I see you in the comments. Pharaoh has a lot of depth. He is great. Don't get me wrong. Pharaoh has a lot of depth. Very, very deep depth with Pharaoh. Pharaoh not even a punchline rapper. Let me reiterate that. He's not a punchline rapper. But what we're getting when you're peeling back this conversation that Lupe's having, he's putting those technical scholastic terms on stuff. Metaphors, similes, entendres, double entendres. And he's counting that. And this is why I said you can't teach this stuff. You can't count. He literally just said, does it have many metaphors? Does it have metaphors? Does it have similes? He literally just said that. It's some bonehead shit. This is why you can't formalize this stuff. You can't make it into a scientific equation. Because then where does Salt and Pepper fit in your equation? Where does Kid and Play? Where do all these different dope artists who aren't like that? Where does Too Short fit in this equation? You're gonna have to keep recorrecting. You're gonna have to keep adjusting your list when you start trying to formalize it and say, well, it gotta have this, that, and the third. The people decide if it's dope. We decide if the beats are dope. We decide if the song is dope. Not your ABC color by numbers, bullshit ass, fake idea of rapping. MC8, right? This is how rap gets out of. This is how it gets out of hand. When you get these simplistic, it's almost childish, right? We all like good punchlines, but to sit here and make it like that is what makes an MC a good MC. That's when I was in my early, I was 19, 20, 23. Oh man, you couldn't tell me nothing about a good punchline rapper. I loved it. Lupe's 45, between 42 and 45. He's somewhere in there, in his mid 40s somewhere. Because one account says 45, he says 42. He's somewhere in there, right? So once you're that age, you need more substance than punchlines and similes and metaphors. Yes, they play a part. But that's like judging a basketball player for his crossover. He has to have more. Let me finish, bro.
Compared to like a Chino XL IT, which is all bars. So if you're rating it on bars, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, Chino XL. If you're rating it on that chill, are they both lyricists? Yeah, because again, we kind of defined as a unit. Everybody has pieces of these. Like even to kind of BK's point about feeling, and me and Mickey, we talked about this yesterday. Like feeling, right? Like everything has feeling. You're not gonna
salute to therapy in the chat. He's sitting there. Lupe is shaking his hand and gesturing as if he's cooking. As if you see what I said. I'm saying things. You're not vindicating yourself. You just said Nas is not in the top tier lyricist because he don't got punchlines. So that's exactly what the quote was on Twitter. So he came on his live to prove everybody wrong. All you did was prove that the question was asked by a super chat. Everything else they said, you said.
escape feeling. You're not going to find a feelingless word. Everybody's going to feel. That comes along for the ride. So that's kind of like a given, right? How intentional you are with the vocabulary choice and the word use or whatever to exaggerate certain feelings or compress certain feelings or say things in a certain way to remove the feeling or dampen the feeling or project it in a different space. The whole game is negotiating feeling. Language is negotiating feeling in a certain way, right?
So now he's trying to discredit feelings. He already went on Quality's stream and said, I don't want to tell you guys my feelings because weirdos like you gonna say weird shit. I don't want to tell. So what? So you just want a bunch of punchlines, similes, and metaphors that don't have no substance. And you're going to discredit when someone is speaking in their feelings. Got it.
Going to get that, like, regardless. It becomes like, if we're going to focus on who has a mastery of feeling, right, then that's a whole other conversation. Like, who makes me feel the
Which
best.
is still lyricism, right?
And you can have that with or without bars.
So you're saying that specific to the area of punchlines,
Yeah,
he's not top 100. But
I didn't-
holistically, he obviously is.
I didn't even bring Nas up. That's what I'm focused on. Like,
No, I understand you didn't start the
But you did speak on
and I
Nas, my guy.
I didn't say Nas didn't have punches. That was the question that somebody else asked. If it was up to me, Nas would have no rapper would have came up in the conversation at all.
Sure, that's easier. Sure. Okay.
You're saying basically that what we saw, the image, is a misquote. And that's the most important part, that's a misquote because you didn't say that shit.
And when people post up, that's because people post that video. Look at all the posts where people posted the video. They're gonna start it from the middle of Justin saying that. You're not gonna hear Justin say Nas doesn't have punchlines like that. It's gonna pick up toward the middle, toward the end, and then I'm gonna come in and it's gonna sound like I'm introducing Nas.
Bro, it doesn't matter who introduced Nas. You went on to say you agreed with the super chat that Nas ain't a top lyricist because he don't have punchlines. That's the problem. It has nothing to do with who brought Nas' name up, guy. I need you to understand that.
Into the conversation, and I'm not.
But my question is, this is what I told when I saw that clip, and I told Toure that for me, it's Lupe's singling out the aspect that he feels is very important, the punchline aspect, and that is a technical feat to be able to do a whole fucking rhyme of punchlines. I would say Nas is not a person that does verses with just punchlines after punchlines. He doesn't do that. That's just a fact. So now if you value that and level that up, there's like, listen to what I'm saying. If you value that as this is a higher form of lyricism because you have likes and similes and metaphors throughout this whole verse, then you would be like, this is more technically skilled than someone who does not have that. Me personally, because the way I look at lyricism holistically, because we're not even talking about poetically in poetry with like rhyme patterns and all that, there's so many levels and things we got to think about when we're talking about lyricism for me, because the basis of it is emotion, right?
And me.
How well can you technically display that emotion, which is what you were saying earlier. Like if I did an entendre and a simile, oh no, here's the example I love. If I say I miss you, that is direct. If I say I miss you like the desert missed the rain, I use the simile. If I say I can't see it falling down my eyes, I gotta make the song cry.
Facts.
There's so many fucking levels to that. I love that fucking chorus.
Facts.
That is one of the greatest written choruses ever. I just told you I miss you. I just told you I can't express vulnerability. I just told you all this fucking shit with one line. I'm a better lyricist than those two other niggas. That's period. That's how it works. 1 is this, 2 is that, 3 is that. The only thing is what people are the like and simile thing to me is literally in the middle of that, because the Jay-Z line isn't a simile, all right? So it's like you can use a metaphor or a pun and be more profound than a simile. So it's really on the writer how he expresses that shit. But I could,
and right there, King Green is cooking. I fully respect what he's saying. It's very thoughtful, very thought out. He's expressing. I get it. Lupe Gary jump in the shower, so he ain't got time to get too deep with this. So, but what King Green is saying, it's about expression. It's up to the artist. It's not about counties, metaphors, and it's not about that. I made a triple entendre today. Like, it's not about that. And this is why hip-hop is in this trouble in a way. It ain't in trouble to the real hip-hop heads. We don't care about this shit. But this is why it's being looked at, and everybody's counting streams and this, that, and the third, and they're trying to make stuff that don't matter. Because they want to slap stuff and make make formulas of how to quantify if something is good or not good. And this is the trap that we're falling into. And Lupe is leading us right there, because in my opinion, this whole thing with him dumbing it down to punchlines and similes and metaphors and entendres, just very technical stuff, that is not, you don't go into hip hop, you don't go into making music with that stuff in mind.
Understand most rappers, most MCs, and Lupe knows this shit. When someone's using similes and shit, we're like, okay, you get it. We like, that's just, it's like, oh, you're there. You're here with us. You're actually in the playing field. Whereas like, if you're just fucking, what young MCs do, not young MCs, young rappers do, is they repeat other similes that they heard before. Coop color of Akon, black like this. They're just using Lil Wayne lines from 2007. And so we look at that and we're like, oh, you have no brain. Someone who actually is an MC is coming up with new similes, so we respect that for your technical ability. But the way I see Kendrick, and don't be talking over me, Lupe.
I'm out. I'm leaving at that point, because I didn't bring him up. I'm out. At that point, thank you.
At that point.
Appreciate you. I'm gonna take a shower. As long as my whole point was to say I didn't bring Nas up. I responded, and I felt I responded very gracefully and in context what has happened. And I also knew that I fucked up when I said that, not because I thought I fucked up, it's because I knew that people would take it the wrong way. And if you continue to fast forward through that video, I come back to that, and I explain to people what I think about Nas, what he means to me, etc.
In fairness, there's going to be somebody in my comments tomorrow up in it that they're going to say, Challz, you took it out of context because he cleaned it. Somebody already said that to me earlier this week. He cleaned it up, Challz. He doubled back. You didn't say that part. You're being disingenuous. So somebody's going to say this. So he did try to clean it up. I don't even know how he cleaned it up. I just was told that he cleaned it up. So I don't even know what he said to clean it up, but it's insanity. But I do have to say, he claims he cleaned it up somewhere. I'm not looking for that. I don't know how he cleaned it up.
My name is Lupe Fiasco. Do you know where my name comes from?
Nah, I don't. I never read that.
Okay, there's an album called The Firm. Whose album is that?
Yeah, Nas.
Nas's album. They have a song called Firm Fiasco. And I was like, I like the way that looks on paper. I'm finna be Lupe Fiasco. So my name is directly connected to the God MC. So everybody fucking relax and just watch the whole thing, bruh.
Is Lupe your given name?
My Wasalu is my name. I was always Lou. My rap name was Lyrical Underdog. I had a homie named Lupe in high school. I liked the way Lupe sounded, so I took his name. And then we were in a stage where rappers had first and last names. I had a name. One of my names Gotti is some wild shit. We thought we were Italian. I love Nas, love the Firm Fiasco. Oh, I'm Lupe Fiasco. I thought that it meant something else, like Ivan the Terrible, right?
Yeah.
But it was like, no, Ivan is terrible. And I was like, fuck, this name kind of sucks. But I'm going to keep it as a lesson to myself to not rush into things and be about the details.
Do you have another name for yourself?
I'm out of here, Toure. I got to go. Y'all be good. Peace.
All right.
Thank you for coming through. Appreciate you.
You got it, brother.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's it. He was more, like I said, more personable, right? He had a different outlook than on the other ones, right? But his main purpose for coming there, which I think he feels he accomplished, was to teach us that he did not, or show us that he did not bring up Nas's name, because people were going crazy. He got stuck on the fact that people thought he brought up Nas' name, which no one really was caring about that. People were upset that you said Nas is not a top tier lyricist, even though you're saying, yo, I got my name from the Firm. Nas is, I'm most inspired by Nas. I love Nas. Everybody relax, da-da-da. That does not negate the fact that you literally just sat here and reiterated that you revere punchlines over everything else, and that Nas would rank low if it was up to you based on your standards. Let me go up to these super chats. I missed Derek P with the super chat. Let me get to that. Hopefully it goes up. Sometimes this thing don't go up so far. Let's see if I can find it. Salute to Derek P. This thing is bugging. Salute to Derek. It won't let me go up. I appreciate you though. I do want to read it though. I do want to read it. There was like 2 or 3. I was trying to let that video get over with. I was trying to let the video get over with. I didn't want this shit to freeze up or something crazy, so I just said, let me not do too much moving around. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys watching. I feel like what we just saw was an expose into what Lupe really feels hip hop is all about. And at like I said, a rudimentary, I believe how you say it. I feel that what we just witnessed and what we heard, Lupe reveres rappers who can get technical and use punches, similes, metaphors, entendres, just very, very technical, technique-based stuff. He doesn't really care for all them touchy-feely things you guys are trying to get into hip-hop. He ain't really for all that. He said all words have feelings, so feelings are, you don't even need to discuss feelings, gang. I can't make it up. If we went by that particular standard, we would have the most vapid culture ever. If we quantified hip hop to be the way Lupe One said, the way he's judging, we would be extremely vapid. Salute the quality in the building, right? Appreciate you locking in. We still here. We still here. We still here, guy. He jumped in another stream and we had to talk about it. But this one, I think this stream was more telling of how Lupe looks at hip hop than all of them streams before it. Because for one, he got caught up on the most insignificant thing of the entire conversation. Who started the Nas? Who brought Nas's name up is the most important thing to him right now. He wanted to prove that it wasn't him. That's the first thing. The second thing that he showed us is that his idea of a elite MC, right, is, and I know I'm dumbing it down, and I know he could probably talk for 2 hours and make it more intricate than what I'm making it, but I'm going on what he said. I heard King Green explain, he said, I think it's way more than just that. But what Lupe just said, and I heard him say it, and he reiterated it several times, so it wasn't we didn't misconstrue it. Lupe values punchlines, metaphors, similes, entendres. He values that as bars over substance. And I'm going to leave it at that. I think we heard enough. I think we heard enough. Salute the Quality. Quality got us here. He exposed the situation. Masterful. He did a master class of baiting Lupe's real feelings out that he didn't really want to share. Just gonna be honest. I think right here is where Lupe needs to really chill. Even though I said he had a better attitude on that one. He had a much more pleasant demeanor. He was much more agreeable, right? End of the day, Lupe needs to fall back because he's showing us that his stance on this hip hop is kind of skewed to me. That's how I'm looking at this. All right? So, guys, you let me know what you think in the comments. Head on over to my guys, black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S. All right? End of the day, I'm seeing Lupe in a different light than I ever have. And that's what it's going to be. So pretty much, I'm going to get out of here. Like I said, let me know what you guys think. We're going to talk about it more sometime this week. All right? And I see you guys soon. So listen, also, before I go, make sure you tap into that The What Project. Me, TJ, and Fliz. Make sure you lock in and watch that. All right? I'm going to try to be up tomorrow morning for the morning show. We're going to see. Right? We're gonna see. This was a late night session. I had to go. I had to do a emergency live. But apparently, I learned more about Lupe than I ever knew in the last. It was a crash course in the last 7 to 9 days, however long it was, 10 days, however it was. And I feel like what Ever Never just said, he ruined his own legacy. I feel like it ain't much else he can say to convince me that he's super knowledgeable about this. Yes, he's super knowledgeable, but in the wrong ways, in my opinion. And he can't convince me that he's not a hater. Bing, you're going to have to catch us on the replay. All right. Queen B, I appreciate you. Quality Therapy. Hi-Fi, Joyce, Miss Ashley, Miss Stacy, Mary, Poison Ivy, Deborah Roker, B Mod, Harlem Hottie, Petey Green, right? Locomotion, Ever Never, Becky, Natrice, Renee, Homebody was here, right? Phoenix Black, Reaction Nation. We had a whole lot of hitters in here. Petey Green, right? Zombie TV. Vina, we had a whole lot. Illy Philly, we just had family in here. Toy, Tiff, I think Hummingbird might have been in there somewhere. Che, Sherry Ann was here. Mr. Stacy, Diego was here. Elevated Gamer, Double JP, Jack Dance. Man, I appreciate everybody that tapped in with me. Like I said, it was emergency live last minute. I didn't have a chance to warn you guys, but we made it happen. All right, Scissor was here, Paula. And we don't know who was lurking in the chat. We don't know who was lurking. I ain't say nothing disrespectful. I just said some real shit. All right. I appreciate everybody that locked in with the jewels, running the jewels. And I appreciate all the super chats. Right? Quality said, I told the chat I'm only collaborating with you, DeVille, Jashawn, and Torture Talk. I appreciate the support. Quality, next week, I need to sit you down for the interview. You're going to be my first interview. I need this done. I need to figure out how to get in touch with you. We're going to make this happen. All right, gang? Listen, black-yeti.com. Go over to my Patreon. Join my Patreon for free. Get down in my links. I got my affiliate links down below. If you shop Temu, use my link to do it. I'm out of here, gang.